Picture this. I'm standing at my kitchen window, the morning light slicing through the blinds, casting thin golden stripes across the counter where my hands are wrapped around a chipped ceramic mug. The coffee inside is still steaming, bitter and black, just how I like it. My name's Sophie, I'm 35, and this quiet moment before the day unravels is mine alone. I've been married to Dylan for 8 years now, a stretch of time that feels both like a heartbeat and a lifetime. He's 38, a man of few words but heavy thoughts, with green eyes so sharp they could cut through fog. He overthinks everything, whether the car needs an oil change or if we've saved enough for some distant, hypothetical future. We live in a modest suburban home, the kind with beige walls and a lawn that's always a little too long because neither of us has the energy to mow it on weekends. Our days are a well-worn track. I'm up at 6:30 brewing coffee. He shuffles in, kisses my cheek with a distracted warmth, and then he's off to his accounting job, crunching numbers in a gray cubicle somewhere. I stay behind, a freelance graphic designer, hunched over my laptop, crossing off tasks on endless to-do lists while the house hums with silence. Our marriage, on the surface, is calm. Too calm, maybe. It's like staring at a lake so still you can't help but wonder what's lurking under the glassy sheen. I used to think I knew Dylan inside and out. Every quirk, every sigh, every way he'd rub the back of his neck when he was stressed. But over the past year, I've started to notice things, small shifts that prickle at the edges of my mind. The way his gaze lingers when I'm slipping into my pajamas after a long day. Not just a casual glance, but something heavier, searching. Or those late-night conversations when we're lying in the dark. The world outside our bedroom window, hushed, and he asks me strange, probing questions. "What's your deepest fantasy, Sophie?" He'll murmur, his voice low, almost hesitant, like he's testing the waters. I laugh it off, mumble something vague, but inside, my heart stumbles. What does he mean by that? Why now? And then there's his restlessness, this undercurrent of unease I can't quite pin down. He's pacing more, fidgeting with his keys, staring out windows like he's waiting for something. Or someone. I thought I had him figured out, every angle of his quiet intensity mapped in my mind, but now I'm not so sure. There's a shadow behind his eyes, a secret I can't reach, and it's starting to gnaw at me. I've caught myself watching him too, studying the way he moves through our home, wondering what's shifted beneath the man I married. It's not fear, not exactly, just a quiet unease, a curiosity that tugs at me in the dead of night. So, when Saturday morning rolls around and I'm jolted awake by Dylan's voice, there's a playful lilt to it that I haven't heard in ages. "Sophie, get up. I've got something for you," he says, his tone almost mischievous. I rub the sleep from my eyes, squinting at the clock. 6:15 a.m., way too early for a weekend. Before I can grumble, he's standing over me, holding out a silk blindfold, the fabric shimmering faintly in the dim light of our bedroom. "Trust me," he adds, his green eyes glinting with something I can't quite place. My stomach does a little flip, half excitement, half suspicion, but I nod, letting him tie the smooth, cool material over my eyes. It's soft against my skin, but it blocks out everything, leaving me in a world of darkness and guesswork. I hear the rustle of him moving around, then his hand takes mine, guiding me out of bed and down the stairs. My bare feet pad against the cold hardwood, and I'm hyper-aware of every sound. The jingle of his keys, the creak of the front door, the early morning chirp of birds outside. "Where are we going?" I ask, my voice a little shaky, but he just chuckles, low and cryptic. "You'll see soon enough." He helps me into the passenger seat of his car, the familiar smell of worn leather and faint pine air freshener grounding me as the engine roars to life. The hum of the motor vibrates through me as we pull out of the driveway, and I'm left clutching the edge of the seat, blindfolded and clueless. The drive stretches on for what feels like forever, probably an hour, though it's hard to tell without my sight. My mind is a whirlwind of possibilities. Is this some romantic getaway he's planned? Maybe a cozy cabin in the woods with a fireplace and a view? Or a fancy spa retreat, the kind we've always talked about but never splurged on? I let out a nervous laugh, trying to fill the silence. "Dylan, come on, give me a hint." But he just reaches over, squeezes my hand and says, "You'll see, Sophie. This is going to change everything." His words hang in the air, heavy with promise, or maybe something else. There's an edge to them that makes my chest tighten, a feeling I can't shake that this isn't just a sweet surprise. Finally, the car slows, gravel crunching under the tires as we come to a stop. My heart is racing now, anticipation and unease mixing into a strange cocktail. Dylan cuts the engine, and I hear his door open, then mine. "Easy now," he murmurs, his hand steadying me as I step out, my sneakers scuffing against uneven ground. The air feels different here, cooler, with a faint dampness that clings to my skin. He guides me forward, my blindfold still snug over my eyes, and I can smell the faint mustiness of old wood and dust as we step through what I assume is a doorway. My sneakers echo on a hard floor, the sound bouncing off walls in a way that tells me we're in a large, empty space. Dylan's hand tightens on mine for a moment before he lets go, and I hear his footsteps retreat. "Wait here," he says, his voice softer now, almost reverent. Then there's silence, except for a faint hum, like the building itself is breathing. I stand there, heart thumping, until a new sound cuts through the stillness. A voice, disembodied and smooth, neither male nor female, coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. "Welcome, Sophie. Follow my instructions and you'll uncover what you've been seeking." My breath catches. Seeking? What does that even mean? But before I can dwell on it, the voice continues, calm and commanding. "Walk straight ahead. Don't stop until I tell you." I hesitate, my hands instinctively reaching out into the darkness of the blindfold. But something compels me to move. My footsteps echo in the vast, empty space, each one louder than the last, like I'm walking through a cavernous void. The air grows heavier, tinged with the scent of aged wood and something faintly metallic. "Stop," the voice says suddenly, and I freeze, my pulse hammering in my ears. "Turn left, you'll find an elevator. Step inside." I shuffle cautiously, my fingers brushing against a cold, textured wall until I feel the outline of a doorframe. I push through, and sure enough, there's a creak and a groan as an old elevator door slides open. I step in, the floor uneven beneath me, and fumble until my fingers find a panel of brass buttons, cool and worn under my touch. "Press the third floor," the voice instructs, and I do, my hand trembling as I push the button. The elevator jolts to life with a shudder that rattles my bones, the cables groaning like they might snap at any moment. The lights above flicker, casting eerie, stuttering shadows through the edges of my blindfold, and my stomach twists with unease. What am I even doing here? Where's Dylan? But the voice offers no answers, and the elevator grinds to a halt with a final jarring thud. The doors creak open, and I step out into what feels like a narrow hallway, the air cooler and damper here. My sneakers scuff against worn carpet, and I can sense walls close on either side, lined with what I imagine are doors, though I can't see them. "Walk forward to room 312, the voice directs, its tone unwavering. I count my steps, my hands brushing against the walls for guidance, until I feel the raised numbers on a door under my fingertips, 312. I turn the knob, the door creaking as it swings open, and a wave of stale air washes over me, carrying the scent of old fabric and forgotten time. Inside, you'll find a wardrobe. Open it, the voice says. I move forward, my hands outstretched, until they meet the smooth, polished wood of a tall piece of furniture. I pull the doors open, and even through the blindfold, I can sense the presence of something delicate and intricate. Choose a dress. Put it on. My fingers tremble as they brush against soft, heavy fabrics, silk, satin, lace. I pull one out, feeling the weight of it, the way it flows through my hands like liquid. It's a deep emerald gown, I imagine, based on the richness of the texture. I hesitate, but the voice urges me on, and I slip off my casual clothes, letting them fall to the floor. The gown slides over my skin, cool and unfamiliar, hugging my body in a way that feels both foreign and intimate. It's like stepping into someone else's life, someone bolder, someone unafraid. My hands shake as I adjust the fabric, my breath shallow. I don't even know who I am right now. Now go to the ballroom downstairs. Your guide awaits, the voice had said, and I'd followed, stepping out of room 3 and 12 with the emerald gown clinging to me like a second skin. My mind is still reeling from what happened in the ballroom, from the unexpected encounter with Leo, the mysterious guide who'd appeared out of nowhere. His presence had been magnetic, his words laced with a quiet intensity that pulled me in despite myself. Now, as I leave the private room off the ballroom where we'd spoken, where boundaries had blurred in ways I can't quite grasp, my chest feels tight, like it's caught in a vice of guilt and exhilaration. I can still feel the ghost of his touch, the way his fingers brushed against mine as he handed me a glass of champagne, a silent toast to something I don't fully understand. The emerald dress, once a symbol of transformation, now feels heavier, like it's woven with the weight of secrets I'm not sure I can carry. I step into the hallway, the dim light casting long, wavering shadows on the walls. There's a mirror at the far end, framed in ornate gold, and I catch my reflection as I approach. I barely recognize myself. The gown shimmers under the faint glow, the deep green catching every flicker of light, but my face looks pale, my eyes wide with something between fear and wonder. I pause, adjusting the dress, smoothing the fabric over my hips with trembling hands. My pulse is a wild drumbeat in my throat, racing so fast I can barely catch my breath. There's a faint scent clinging to me, a trace of Leo's cologne, something woody and sharp like cedar and smoke, that lingers on my skin, a reminder of how close we stood just moments ago. My fingers shake as I tuck a stray strand of hair behind my ear, trying to steady myself, but the mirror only reflects the chaos inside me. What have I done? How did I let myself get swept up in that moment, in his gaze, in the way he seemed to see right through me? I tear my eyes away from the mirror, forcing myself to move. The hallway is silent, eerily so, and there's no sign of Leo. He'd vanished as quietly as he'd appeared, leaving me alone with the storm in my head. My footsteps echo on the polished floor, each one a reminder of how far I've strayed from the Sophie I thought I was. I can't shake the feeling that I've crossed a line, one I didn't even see until it was too late. And Dylan. God, Dylan. What will he think if he finds out? Was this all part of his plan? This strange, cryptic game he's orchestrated? My mind churns with questions, each one sharper than the last, slicing through any attempt at calm. Then, cutting through the silence, that disembodied voice returns, smooth and detached, echoing from hidden speakers somewhere above. Sophie, return to the lobby. Your next step awaits. My stomach twists at the words, a cold dread settling in my bones. The lobby means Dylan. It means facing him, looking into those piercing green eyes, and wondering if he can see the truth written all over me. I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I don't have a choice. I make my way to the elevator at the end of the hall. the same creaky ancient contraption that brought me up here earlier. The doors groan as they slide open, and I step inside, the air inside stale and heavy. I press the button for the ground floor, and the elevator lurches downward with a shudder that mirrors the tremor in my chest. Each floor ticks by like a countdown, 3, 2, 1, a relentless march toward a confrontation I'm not prepared for. The cables groan overhead, and the flickering light casts jagged patterns on the walls, amplifying the unease that's clawing at me. As the elevator descends, I replay everything in my mind, trying to make sense of it all. The blindfold, the drive, the strange instructions, the gown, and then Leo, his voice, his presence, the way he seemed to know more about me than I know about myself. Did I let things go too far? Was I supposed to resist, to pull back? Or did I play right into a plan I can't yet comprehend? The elevator shudders to a stop, the doors grinding open with a reluctant groan, and I step out into the lobby. The air here feels different, heavier somehow, charged with an energy I can't name. My heels click against the polished marble floor, the sound sharp and lonely in the vast echoing space. The emerald gown swishes around my legs, a constant reminder of the transformation I've undergone, whether I wanted it or not. My eyes dart around, searching for him, and then I see him, Dylan, standing near a grand staircase, his silhouette framed by the dim glow of a chandelier above. He's wearing a tailored black suit, one I don't recognize, looking more polished than I've ever seen him, like he's stepped out of a different life. His posture is relaxed, almost too casual, and in his hand, he holds 2 glasses of deep red wine, the liquid catching the light like blood. I freeze for a moment, my breath hitching as I take him in. Those green eyes, the ones I've stared into 1,000 times, lock onto mine, and there's something in them I can't read. Not anger, not hurt, but something deeper, more complex, like he's been waiting for this exact moment. He steps forward, closing the distance between us with a slow, deliberate stride, and extends one of the glasses to me. "So, how was your journey?" he asks, his voice smooth, almost teasing, with a cryptic smile curling at the edges of his lips. My mouth opens, but the words stick in my throat. I'm searching his face, desperate for a sign of what he's feeling, disappointment, betrayal, anything. But all I see is a flicker of amusement, maybe even satisfaction, dancing in his gaze. My fingers brush against his as I take the glass, and the contact sends a jolt through me, a mix of familiarity and something entirely foreign. I stammer, trying to find my footing. "Dylan, I don't know what to say. It was overwhelming." My voice trembles, barely above a whisper, and I hate how small I sound. I'm waiting for the storm, for the questions about Leo, about what happened upstairs. But instead, he leans in close. So close I can feel the warmth of his breath against my ear. His voice drops to a low, intimate murmur, each word deliberate and heavy. "I saw everything, Sophie, and I want more. Now, with a different script." My breath catches, sharp and sudden, as the weight of his words crashes over me like a tidal wave. He saw everything. Every moment, every interaction, every stolen glance with Leo. It wasn't hidden, wasn't a secret. My mind reels, piecing it together in jagged, frantic bursts. He wasn't just waiting here. He was watching, orchestrating, pulling strings I didn't even know existed. This wasn't a betrayal in his eyes, not some wound I'd inflicted on our marriage. No, this was part of a game, a larger design he's been weaving around me, around us, for who knows how long. I step back instinctively, the wine glass trembling in my hand, the dark liquid sloshing dangerously close to the rim. My heart is pounding so hard I'm sure he can hear it, a frantic rhythm against the silence of the lobby. I look at him, really look at him, and it's like I'm seeing a stranger wearing my husband's face. 8 years. 8 years of shared mornings, quiet evenings, mundane arguments over bills and chores. And yet, standing here now, I realize I don't fully know the man in front of me. Those green eyes, once a safe harbor, now hold depths I've never plumbed, desires and intentions I'm only beginning to glimpse. My mind flashes back to those late-night questions, the lingering looks, the restlessness I couldn't place. It wasn't just curiosity or boredom. It was hunger, a need for something beyond the life we'd built, something he's been waiting to unleash. The shock is a cold, sharp thing, slicing through the fog of guilt and confusion that has clouded my mind since the moment I stepped out of that elevator. I'm still holding the wine glass, the stem cool against my palm, as I try to steady my breathing. Dylan gestures toward a pair of plush velvet armchairs tucked into a quiet corner of the hotel lobby, away from the grand staircase and the echoing expanse of marble. I follow him, my legs feeling like they might give out beneath me, the emerald gown trailing behind like a shadow of the choices I've made tonight. We sit, the silence between us thick, heavy with unspoken truths. But it's not uncomfortable. It's charged, electric, like the air before a storm breaks. I glance at him, catching the way the chandelier light dances in the deep red of his glass, casting tiny prisms of crimson across the table between us. There's a faint smirk on his lips, not mocking, but knowing, as if he's already 3 steps ahead in this game I'm only just beginning to understand. My stomach twists, but it's not just fear, it's something else, something raw and alive, a pulse of adrenaline that makes my skin tingle. I take a sip of the wine, the rich, bitter taste grounding me for a moment, and I let my thoughts spill out, unfiltered, into the quiet. I've changed tonight, I know that much. Not just because of what happened upstairs with Leo, not just because I stepped into a world I didn't expect, but because I felt something awaken in me, something I didn't even know was there. I don't regret it, I realize, as the words form in my mind. I don't regret letting myself be drawn into the unknown, even if it meant breaking the vows I made to Dylan all those years ago. I liked it. The thrill, the danger, the way it made my heart race like it hasn't in years. I liked feeling like someone else, someone untethered, someone who could say yes to a moment without overthinking the consequences. And as I sit here, watching Dylan's steady gaze, I see that he's not the man I thought I married either. He's not the predictable, cautious accountant who frets over budgets and schedules. No, there's a hidden depth to him, a darkness that mirrors the one I've just discovered in myself. He craves this too, this edge, this rush of stepping into uncharted territory. I can see it in the way he holds himself now, in the way his fingers curl around his glass with a quiet intensity, like he's barely containing whatever's simmering beneath the surface. Our marriage used to be a still lake, so calm and familiar that I could map every ripple, every quiet moment. I thought that was enough: safety, stability, the comfort of routine. But now, after tonight, I see it for what it's become: a rushing current, wild and unpredictable, pulling us in directions I can't foresee. It's dangerous, I know that. It could sweep us away, drown us in its undertow if we're not careful. But as I sit here, feeling the weight of Dylan's gaze, I realize I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not knowing where this current will take us, with letting go of the shore I've clung to for so long. There's a freedom in it, a strange, exhilarating kind of surrender. I don't know what he meant by a different script, those cryptic words still echoing in my mind like a puzzle I can't solve. What does he have planned? What other layers of this game are waiting to unfold? I don't have answers, and for the first time in a long time, I don't need them. Not right now. I lift my glass, the wine catching the light just as his does, and he mirrors the gesture without a word. The soft clink of crystal against crystal cuts through the silence. A small, deliberate sound that feels like a pact, a promise of something yet to come. As the glasses touch, I feel a spark, not of fear, but of anticipation. It's like a door has cracked open inside me, revealing a path I never thought I'd walk, and Dylan's standing there on the other side, waiting to see if I have the courage to step through and join him on this unexpected journey. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.